The image you're looking at is obviously a Photoshop. But one of the things about it is when you do find the image, it says that it was taken with a particular camera, a Nikon. Now, that's a bit unusual, and that would lead you to believe that this is based on a real-world image, and then something's been added. At this point, it would probably be the very large diameter snake body. So we're going to go forward from that. This is the original. That's the end of it. This was done by Marc Shandro. He's from Calgary, Canada. He went there with some friends, took the image in 2008, and there it is. Now, obviously, I'm going to go further than that, but if you hit Show Settings, it gives you a bunch of data here. Now, when people on Flickr repurpose an image, a lot of the time, at the time, Flickr would look for a duplicate of it or a very close image of it and grab the data and import it. And the other thing is, the person who did this used Adobe Photoshop. And besides it adding in its labeling for that, it might include things like GPS. I couldn't find that in here, but it said peeking into Coyote Gulch. And then he mentioned at one point in here it's in Utah. Now, that's enough for me to find it, but it's a long, windy canyon. So let's take a look at it first of all. This is the original image, and this isn't high resolution enough. It had a watermark on it, and someone had to remove that to do the literal photoshopping. And you can see a couple of details I'm going to bring up. Let's zoom in just a teeny bit here. Way off in the distance, we have what looks like some sort of glyph or graffiti. It's actually a feature banged into the rock back there. And you can see these drip marks and this bowling out effect of it caving in over here. And over here we have, let's get over here. We see plant life growing here, slash mark here, plant life, and then plant life down there. And down here we can see that this is the, I'm going to call it a ridge or whatever, and it caved in several different layers. And right here we're going to see this here, this is a chip that was broken off by temperature changes, and it broke off, and it's about, let's say, 10 feet across by, let's say, 3 or 4 feet deep here. Now we're going to go off to the next image. That's the image again that you see on the album cover. And I don't know if the Glitch Mob or anybody else knew about it, but it has the same name, Peeking Into the Gulch, and it was attributed to a person on the internet. And that was, thank you, computer, this one, edupunk, edupunk. And when we hit Show Settings, it gives us almost the same data, and it's basically just cut and pasted from it. The person left in here, artist Marc Shandro. That's how I found it. And of course, there's his website. Now, I'm not going to go any further than that, but I'm going to check, is there a GPS in here so I can see it? I couldn't find one. It could be one in here encoded as hexadecimal digits or something, but I didn't see one. And honestly, I had more fun finding it because, if you're not aware, but a lot of times the GPS data will just be wrong. So we go forward from there, and here we are. The total name for it is Peeking Into Coyote Gulch. Here's the GPS data here, which we're going to copy. And the water tanks is the other name for the area, and literally the area the person was taking the image from, Kane County, USA, Kane County, Utah, USA, 2008. And of course the other data we already know. Have you ever crawled on your stomach to the edge of a cliff and looked straight down hundreds of feet to the bottom? It's fun for kids of all ages. I highly recommend it. And then there's the links here. What happened is that edupunk added a snake to the image and also credited it, but only in the metadata. And here are the other links that we're going to be able to use in the video here. And now we're looking at the original image here again. I've just moved it over here for efficiency's sake. So here's our image. It's an actual photo of a real environment. And we're going to look for anything here that we can see. And please pay attention to that little glyph or tick, again, way off in the distance there. All right. So this is a picture from Google Street View, directly wrong position to it. That's a very common thing that when you look at images on Google Street View, it will point to the wrong one. But you can see already we got drip marks here that could match up. Okay. And we can look over this way, and then, oh, okay, there we are. We see this over here in the distance. I'm going to zoom in on it because we can. Let's get that up there. And by the way, there's that little peak in the distance. Let's just see if we can see it from here. It would be off. Oh, there it is. Now we're at a different position, but there it is right there. And there it is. So that's almost impossible for it to be the wrong location. But let's get some more corroboration. Our little glyph or U-shape in the distance here, that's right there, that looks so distinctive, it's right there. What about, okay, we see that there. Let's see right here. So we've got that. And this bowl out area, it's a very distinctive area. And then we get the rest of the angles here, so we very likely have it. Now the thing is, I'm saying very likely even now because it's possible for me to just get this wrong, obviously. Now the rest of it's over here. We can't see, for instance, this edge. But we can see part of this over here. Let's look for a blotch over there. And when you look over here, we can see a blotch and a little chunk taken out there. And that appears to be that chunk over there starting. And we want to see plant life below those cuts. So yeah, that's it. But let's look at, if we can see it, that surface. Zoom in slightly. Lots of cuts and patterns and stuff. And that looks like this. We'll look for this object here, or this shape. And it's right there. And the reason I go on and on about making sure I've got the right location is places like this. Every one of the oxbows out here looks different, but they can all look kind of the same. Anyway, our location for where the kids were when the picture was taken is a tiny drop down here, just big enough for her to fit her arm in, or him, don't know which, it could be either. And it lines up, in case you can't tell, from here backwards, pretty much in a straight line. Looks like it's right over here someplace, and I can't really tell which place it is. I'd have to physically go there. So we're going to look back. I'm going to hit this back here. Hopefully it shows me a map without freaking out and glitching. Waiting. And let's see. And it seems to have kind of given me the correct information. There's the Jacobson-Hamblin Arch. So I don't know if I've got the right location here. Let's zoom in a little bit more. And I don't have it. So I'm going to have to go grab the data here. Yeah, because it's not being consistent. Grab that. Copy. Go here. Go here. Force it to go to the correct location. Let's see how far off it is. Okay, it was only off by one oxbow. Again, they all look the same after a while. Now, the only place that seems to match pretty close. Now, this is going to have a lot of warpage and dip and stuff. These are images taken from an airplane. They are not satellite images. They don't look actually straight line. Even satellite image wouldn't. So these are going to be warped and distorted. To get something better, we'd have to go to Google Earth. But right here, if we can back up a bit, there we go. We see an arch here. Excuse me, a cutout. It's about 20 feet. So we're not seeing any definitive example of where it could be, but the angles we're seeing, yes, computer, show that this angle, if we drew that as a straight line from that part there all the way back here, that would be basically from here, do a measure distance trick, to here, almost but not quite point to it being right there. We look at these edges here, that's very likely it. So I'm going to call that good. It's right there. So we just turn that off, and it would be probably right here. They're very, very near the edge. I don't know exactly where it is, but it's somewhere around there. And that's where the image was taken from. So to review really simply here. Let's get these swapped correctly. Peeking into Coyote Gulch, again, was the only one that ever came up when I was looking up the album cover, which looks like this. Was converted to like this by Edupunk in about 2014 or before, and the original image was uploaded like 2008, 2009 is when the image was taken, and it was uploaded 2009. So it's Marc Shandro, and combined with the efforts of edupunk, all of them on Flickr. And yeah, that's it. That's the location. And I'll get rid of that because that's just simply wrong. It was on this edge here, right here, of the map. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. And yeah, this is just an example of me trying really hard, way too hard to find something. Bye.